athletes Carly Wenzel and Mackie Nelson, joined by Coach Duffy. Coach Duffy, can you kick it off with an opening statement?
Just extremely disappointed with our second half, and defensively we weren't very good for how well it went in the first half. We didn't put another 20 minutes together, specifically that fourth quarter. So again, this one hurts, especially on our home floor, to lose one like this.
Open the floor to questions. Mark.
Yeah, Megan, obviously you're up 15 in the fourth quarter. What do you feel offensively and defensively you weren't doing as well, the last 8 or 9 minutes of regulation than you had been?
Yeah, I thought we had a bunch of defensive breakdowns with some coverage on a couple of their sets. Then they attacked us one-on-one, and then, to give them credit too, they executed a couple things really nicely. So it's kind of a combination of everything. When you give up, 20 in the third quarter, 23 in the fourth quarter, there's a lot of things that don't go well. I thought us missing a few easy shots really impacted our mindset on defense. And we've been talking a lot with this group about there's a lot of different ways to make winning plays. If your shot's not falling or you don't get a clean look, what you do to respond on the other side of the floor is what we've been really preaching all year long with our rebounding and our defense, and we just have to get better at that. Unfortunately, tonight, up as much as we were, to lose it is disappointing.
Mackie, what did they do anything in the fourth quarter and overtime to kind of frustrate you guys on their defensive end with you guys having the ball offensively, because you guys were shooting the ball well early and then kind of went cold down the stretch?
Yeah. I think just like any other good team, they switched up their defense. They went to the 1-3-1 man, a little bit of both at some points, and we worked on it in practice. We took those shots in practice with confidence, and I can't say today we took the same shots with the same amount of confidence, and I think that's what it came down to at the end of the day.
Caden and then Thomas.
Coach, just 9 assists for Miami. Is there a difference with the defense when their offense is so isolated like that?
I mean, Miami always just runs a lot of different actions, from their chin and Iverson, and they got some quick hitters for Kyle inside, and I thought we had some great possessions of guarding all of it and helping each other, and forcing them to take some difficult shots. Some of the stuff they got late was end of shot clock or the back end of it, and it was just a little bit of a 1v1 battle, whether that was inside or whether a guard was like, I'm getting a bucket. And that's the competitiveness that we have to be a little different the next time. And, fatigue doesn't matter, foul trouble doesn't matter. It's like I'm getting a stop no matter what. And there's a couple different ways to do that. And so I just didn't think we executed that very well, and give them credit. They stepped up. That basket became really big for them once they got some confidence, and, we couldn't stop the bleeding.
Carly, 6 for 11 for 16 points. What did you like about what you were doing in the first half, and how do you feel Miami eventually adjusted to that?
I think I've been in the gym. I think it's made a difference. I think the break was good for me, but at the end of the day, if we don't win, it doesn't really mean anything. So just coming out, staying consistent, making sure everybody's doing their job, making sure everybody's just ready to go tomorrow. So we're going to have a tough one on the road, and we're trying to pull that one off.
Coach, how do you move back from a loss like this? How do you rebound?
Yeah, I mean, really the same way we do every day. We talk about getting back into our process, and the most important things for our players right now is to, rest their minds a little bit, get their recovery, fuel up. Coaches will get back to work, and, there's a lot of basketball to play. And I think we've been talking a lot about, sticking to our values and not get too high or too low. We all should be extremely disappointed, and but again, this is a group that we've been growing to fight back, and I look forward to getting back to work and figuring out some of those small details that could have prevented what happened today. And I got all the confidence in the world in that locker room, and Mackie and Carly right next to me, that we're all going to stay driven to fix some of the things, and use it as a learning experience and keep moving forward.
Megan, as the game went on, what made Kyle and Raviv tougher and tougher to keep in check there?
Yeah, we did a really nice job on him for about 3 quarters, I guess. And, I think Raviv had maybe 6 going into at the end of the third quarter, and, just didn't do enough. I mean, she got downhill. She hit her 3. They were trying to get the ball back in Kyle's hands, and, we were throwing different bodies at her, and she made a couple really, really great finishes. So yeah, their 2 really stepped up at the end, and You know, we got to get better at kind of understanding that could happen, and just didn't do enough to stop it.
David?
Carly, he just kind of asked a little bit about Raviv. What makes her at times such a tough matchup, and you know, the kind of that late shot clock ability just kind of make something out of nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it all week with our preparation. She changes, her ability to change pace is really, really good. That's what makes it hard to guard her. We tried to switch up ball screen defenses, and I think we got, or specifically me, got caught a lot of times going under the ball screen, and I think that just gave her confidence. And at the end of the day, that's what it came down to. But we talked about it all week. Her change of pace, her disability to get downhill. We call it hostage dribble off the ball screen. That's what makes her a really good basketball player.
Final question from Thomas.
Coach Rashaya Kyle, being 6'6", how much does that make you have to change your defensive game plan to account for that size?
I don't know about changing a game plan. I think, you know, even in non-conference, we played against 6'9", 6'8", you know, 6'4", 6'5". Every post player is a little different. I thought Anaya gave us some great minutes with her physicality and trying to mix it up. And, you know, Kyle has a lot of experience. She knows how to get to her spots. You know, we tried to front a little bit. We tried to bring the double, a couple different things, and had a couple really, you know, great quarters with it. And then, again, maybe the stamina to do it or whatever it was, they stepped up and were able to execute off of it.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.